Hello, everyone. Do you want to put on your headphones? That'd be cool, and you can all hear our conversations.
She's so rude.
We have now sort of moved from sort of the formalities into the informalities, all right? So sort of the ground rules of this one is if you want to make a point or ask a question, that's absolutely fine. If you want to hear sort of us natter, that's kind of what you've signed up for. If you need to go and get a cup of tea or a glass of wine or a non-alcoholic beverage, you can do so. If there is any more juice left to squeeze in terms of what you wanted to come out of today, now's a really good chance as well. If you weren't here for Callie this morning, she just sort of set up everything that we wanted this event program to be in a really lovely way, because we went straight at people and AI and human beings and AI. And then we've sort of done everything from hackathons to legalities to town halls and all that sort of stuff. And I guess we're conscious that you guys can't come to everything, so we've covered up pretty much everything between us. So we're going to just try and do that together. And if at any point you want to interrupt, you can do that, if that's okay. Is that all right? Does that sort of suit? I should finish, because I'm going to forget right at the very end, by saying thanks so much to our AV people. Can we applaud the AV people? And you know that event organisers always applaud the AV people, because they know when it goes wrong, it ain't great, and when it goes right, it's like they're my pals, and they always get it right. And it's so nice to have Lighthouse Events supporting the show. We're also really lucky to be supported by the ICC Birmingham, by West Midlands Convention Bureau as well. And again, these people, it can't happen without them, and we really, really do value their partnership and their friendship and everything else. So thank you all. And thank you for coming as well, because again, it's always nice to have really engaging audiences and questions when you're trying to take your furore into AI. Let's sit down. Actually, so let's introduce ourselves. I'm conscious that you might have heard some of these guys speak already, but let's just do a bit of an intro, and then we'll start picking apart sort of what happened today and why we liked it and why we didn't like it and all those other things. Emma, why don't you start? Because you haven't been on stage today.
I haven't, no, and I've also losing my voice, so apologies. But yeah, I'm Emma King. I'm the founder of CHS Birmingham, and I've been listening to the education content very eagerly, actually, today. And can I just say, Al, great job on the content and the speakers. It has been fantastic. And I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head in terms of the level people were interested in. There's been great conversations. And I know, like, particularly Felicia and Vanessa earlier have been, like, said there's no question too stupid, there's no question, like, you can just be honest. And I think you've created that environment, so thank you.
Thank you, that's very kind. Thanks, Emma. Felicia.
Hello. Has anyone seen me speak today? Oh, thank God, you're a nice new audience. So, because otherwise I'm just repeating myself. So I'm Felicia Asiedu. I am the marketing director for Europe at Cvent. Cvent offers event technology, and I've personally worked in technology since I graduated uni, which is a very long time ago now. So every part of technology, whether that's data centers, managed hosting, internet connectivity, and now up into event technology, financial technology, all the stuff. So I'm naturally interested in it. So with AI, I'm playing and exploring and developing and all sorts. Yeah.
Thanks, Felicia. And Callie, introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Callie Stewart. I'm a success psychologist and female friendship expert. I am all about the human-to-human connection.
Fantastic. This isn't an accident, by the way. So show owner, director, starter, technology person, human person. Right, so that's not an accident. I'm really proud of it. Emma, can I start with you? Because obviously the content's a big part of the show, right? And you want to get it right. You saw the feedback that we got from last year, and I just wanted to kind of, what was your brief? What did you want to happen today? And kind of give me your own sort of approach on it, this whole you and AI sort of thing, because it was a big part of your vision. So talk to me about that journey, please.
Yeah, so we always ask for feedback at the end of every show in terms of the content and what you're looking for. And there's actually two big themes came up last year, AI being one of them. I think both you and I kind of went, oh no, that's too scary, let's not do AI. But it was overwhelming, like that's what people wanted to hear about. And it's been interesting because I've been seeing both sides of it, the you and the AI, and the overarching message has been it's a partnership. You know, you can't just go on the AI route and forget the human side. And if you want to cling on to the human side and not have AI, you're going to be kind of out of the labour market, I would imagine, sometime soon. So it was really the brief, if you like, was to get that both sides of it, and for people to come and say, hey, I just feel like this, and how can you help me? And I've been making notes all day in terms of some thoughts on that. I don't know if you want me to. If you want to come back to me, if you want to.
No. Carry on with that, because again, one of the things I think one of the second things was I think around the AI is it going to take my job?
Yeah, and that was the key thing. And I've been looking at some of the questions that came out in the other sessions were, what about the entry level jobs? How are people going to get into this industry, or in fact any job, when there's no entry level jobs left? And that's debatable whether there are or there aren't, or what industry and what have you. And I do believe that knowledge itself is going to become a commodity. AI is going to know everything there is to know. Therefore, what can you bring to the party if it's not, purely knowledge? If it's not purely I've graduated, I've got a degree, I have all this knowledge. So's ChatGPT. There's nothing that we can know in that sense. So what can we bring? And it was interesting your session this morning, Callie, about how AI can't reject you, and it can't. I was running a session at the weekend, and someone said AI can't give you a hug, which is the converse of that is AI can't give you empathy and emotion, and it's very much about what you put into it. Because if you say, hey, Callie said this morning about, I've had an argument with somebody, I think I'm right, tell me what you think. It's got to pretty much agree with you, unless you specifically ask it, give me the other person's perspective, give me some ideas about what else could be going on here other than I'm right. And talking to Hamish as well in the back of the room, he's a sports PE teacher, and he was like, oh, this is how do we build resilience? I was like, yeah, that is one of the attributes we're gonna need. So these are my sort of top 4 or 5 attributes that I think we're going to need as human beings, and what we can bring to the party. And if we have children, or we teach, or we have church groups, community groups, these are my kind of top 5 things. I'll be quick because I know you want to go through it, but one key skill is curiosity. We are going to have to get curious and not take the first answer that ChatGPT gives us. The ability to, is ideate a word? Ideation? To be able to go back and say, great, now what happens if I do this? What's next? And ChatGPT 5 is getting much better at telling us where we should be going next. But that skill to be curious and to push back and to challenge, and to come up with different scenarios and work with AI in that, I think is going to be a great skill going forward. Certainly the ability to really take ownership of projects, and to have that ability to, I think I actually said it on another session, is that, no, it wasn't on here, wasn't it? I said that never worry about AI taking your job. Worry about the person who knows how to use AI taking your job. And to take ownership of actually learning about this, and ownership of results and projects, as opposed to being task orientated, I think that's going to be a really key skill. The ability to connect and communicate, that, it's a big challenge in events. The students we had debating AI versus, they were just amazing. Made me kind of should thinking, oh wow, that's who we should be scared of, the people who are embracing AI. But AI can't give us a hug. It can't walk in here and light up our faces when we see each other, and we haven't seen each other for sort of 6 months, or in your case with 70 events, probably 3 days till you see some people. But that's what's going to be and the challenge for me is, if we're going to have AI agents attending events, how do I make it compelling to come to the event? How do I create an experience that's going to blow your minds and make you want to come in person? And I think that's all of our challenges. Critical thinking comes into the curiosity. I think that's going to be a skill, to take something and think critically and challenge. And on a personal note, something that came to me today from all this is self-confidence. When AI, so I write, I have a coaching business as well, and every week I write a newsletter. about like leadership or being a founder of a business. And every week I take a personal experience, something that's inspired me, and I write, a good few hundred words on what I do, and then I run it through AI. And it is always in my mind better because it might bring in some statistics that I wasn't aware of or some other context, but it does knock my confidence and ability to write. And I think that's actually, and that comes into Hamish's point about resilience. I think it's not just kids that need to learn resilience and confidence. I think we do, and I think we need to be careful that we don't hand our lives over to AI and then we lose the ability to connect, communicate, think critically, get curious, give someone a hug, all that kind of stuff. That's my
Thanks, Emma.
2 pennies worth.
Right, have a rest.
I'm having a rest. I'm not saying anything else. I'm
Right.
on voice rest.
Yeah, that's right. Felicia, so talk to me about your experience. What did you glean from the audience? What are the interesting questions? What are the things that came up that surprised you? What are things that tell me where you are?
So yeah, I guess, I come into it very tech thinking, but I started my marketing. I wouldn't say started. I'm very content, very creative. That's where my mind is. So I'm a writer. And sometimes I'm getting, I'm in ChatGPT, I've given it all of my prompts. And then I start to say something like, and I want it to kind of say, and then I pretty much write almost what I was going to say in the first place. And I think that's what helps me to not feel though my creativity is being stifled, because I'm not being lazy. And I ended up saying that in one of our sessions because people were asking about creativity and the same stuff getting churned out over and over again, and it all starting to sound boring and very samey. Images look similar, there's bias, there's all sorts of problems. And I think what that fundamentally comes down to is lazy humans, because you wouldn't do that normally. Like, you would put time and effort and energy in, and that is the thing that it's not replacing you. It can't replace a good worker. It can replace a lazy worker. It can, because we're now at the same level. If I'm giving you nonsense and you're spitting out nonsense and everyone's got the same drivel, so back to that word of slop, there is this AI slop that's just slopping around the world. It's rubbish. But that is because there are people that are, let's just give us a break. There are people experimenting, that's fine. But there are people that are being quite lazy and being like, I think it's this. And chat goes, yeah, maybe it is, and then you get rubbish. So I think, bringing all those bits together of like the interns, the young generation coming in, if I was to interview a young person right now, if I got budget for a younger person on my team, which I'm desperately fighting for my budgets, my AI questions. I mean, someone asked me the other day, do you really check LinkedIn? I was like, of course I check LinkedIn. Like, why would I not check LinkedIn? It's like a standard. If I get a CV to look at and I know I'm going to interview someone, I just want to see what you're about. Kind of want to see, what's going on in the world. So that's a standard. My second standard is now going to be like, how are you using AI? And if they're not really, I'm just thinking about it. And then someone else comes in, like you said, and says, well, actually, yeah, I think this AI thing, I do this, I take you this far, and AI tilts me over the edge. I'm probably going to want to hire that person instead. So, yeah, I think I'm going to settle on what have I taken away from today? Put the effort in, hone your craft, get your skill level up, and then do it in AI. Like, if you're a designer, make sure you're a damn good designer. If you're a writer, be a good writer. If you're an event creative, create a great event, but then be like, but how can I lift? How can I do more? How can I execute more of these things and take it to the next level? Don't be lazy. That's not going to work.
That's great. Thanks, Felicia. Love that. And then same question to you, Callie. I've seen you in a number of sessions, actually. I was just wondering where, you started, right? So tell us where you are now at the end of the day.
I've tried to catch as many sessions today as possible because I find AI fascinating, and having spent the last 3 months really going down the rabbit hole of what it really is about and how it's impacting us, I really wanted to get the perspectives from other people. And I think the only thing that I can say really is just to echo what Felicia has said, but from a perspective of Felicia saying, if you're a good designer, be a good designer first. If you're good at this, be good at that first. I think the only thing that I would say is know who you are before you're outsourcing anything to AI, because I agree with Emma completely. I got into a very bad habit of writing something and then being like, ooh, I'm just going to run this through my chat. And then what came back sounded better. So then I'd have this like, God, am I shit? Like, what's happening? And then I would put the AI version out, and then it wouldn't be me. And so what I would find was people were then responding to those posts, and then I'm responding as the human version, and then there's a slight disconnect between my response in the comments to the original post. And so I think those of you that are going to be using AI and certainly outsourcing elements of yourself to AI, know yourself first. Know your values, know your voice, know what you really want to get from that, and keep that tight.
Can I respond to that a bit?
Yeah, please do.
So within that, so I've just said don't be lazy. Here's how you can be lazy. Well, here's where it's fine. I spoke earlier about having your list of priorities, right? So let's imagine that, I'm just going to make this up because I don't know what you do, right? But let's imagine you've got a level of coaching that's very important. So that's very human to human. Then you've got like your stage moments. Those are very important because they're still human to human. And then you've got your digital life. So your digital you is, I do a podcast, imagine, or I've got a website, and then I've got these posts that I put out. There becomes a list of prioritization. And somewhere in there is fine. AI did it. I don't have the time because my most creative mind or my skilled strategy mind is on delivering these sessions, is on speaking on stage, is on doing my podcast. These are me 100%. I don't need to doubt myself. That's my skill. How I write my social media posts, maybe that's not a priority. Maybe it is, but you would need to and you'd all need to figure out what's the most important thing and what's the thing that just needs to get out and get done efficiently. And maybe that's where you can, don't be lazy, but maybe you can just be like, it's fine. It's okay.
Fantastic. Go on, Emma.
Yeah,
Also,
no,
did you want?
No.
I just want to build on that because, and Kelly, you'll know this because we both are in the coaching world as well, is that years ago you had a coach or a therapist or anything, and it was that one-on-one. You got that person's time, and the industry has moved that one-to-many. Don't sell your time for money. And then you end up joining group programs. And I believe, and I'm getting back to the AI bit, but now I think people don't want group therapy. They don't want group coaching. They want, I hate group learning. I hate, I would pay more for one-on-one. And I think that's where the coaching world will go, where people will pay more to have us to ourselves. And I would think that in the world of AI, when we're using AI to cut out all those entry-level jobs or the repeatable jobs or the what have you, is that if you can be yourself first, if you can be great at what you do, the value of that is going to become more. So I think whilst coaching will become full circle, that you'll charge more for that one-on-one time, people who are really great at what they do, hone their skill, not be lazy, check in with their identity, and have really good values, you'll be able to charge more for what you do because you won't be churning out the AI drivel, the slop and what have you. So yes, use it, but don't lose who you are as individuals and build your skill and therefore confidence in what you bring to the party as an event organiser.
Thanks, Emma. One of the things that I learned that I was super interested in is it started coming out in your sessions, Felicia, but I was interested now. I was excited at Callie coming back because it was this there was like imposter syndrome from a female point of view. It felt that there was more females feeling like they were cheating the system, that they weren't quite as confident, that the dudes were going off and just owning the A stuff where they needed, it was too complex or something like that. It's sort of like, and we were sitting there in the coffee saying, surely this isn't going to become a gender divide thing. No, it can't be. Is this about to happen? And I just thought, Callie's coming back. Let's ask her what she thinks about that. But there's a lovely lady, and she just said, I just feel guilty. And it was such a moment for me. And sorry, I've literally just briefed you on that during this question.
No, I
Tell
love
me
it.
what you think.
I'm just, in my head, I'm really quickly trying to be diplomatic in my answer. I'm very anti-patriarch. I don't think patriarchy benefits anybody at all, but we know that men statistically are benefited more by it. And I do think that when it comes to things like outsourcing, whether to AI or anything, women carry a lot of invisible labour. We know this. Men and women process things very differently, from everything from relationships to task-driven work. And so there is already, so what we know about men and women in particular is when we go for a task, men only need to feel 65 to 68% confident in that task to say, I'm going to nail this. Women need to feel 96% confident in that task to even think that they can do a capable job. And because of the difference in confidence that men and women have approaching these things, what happens is women build this invisible deficit around labour, around caregiving, around being responsible for a result, not just for ourselves, but for other people. And so certainly when we look at how we approach things and how we do things, and I think Vanessa touched on it earlier, she did a task in her employed role and then was a bit like, shit, I did that a bit quick. Is that okay for me to do that? Men would just not process a thought in that way because the expectation is, I'm just that good, I'll get it done anyway. But women have this expectation invisibly. Sometimes it's conscious to us, sometimes it's subconscious to us. But women always have this expectation that we should be reasonable, we should be polite, we should be doing things the way they should be done. And so when we do something that feels like we've cheated the system, that we have a very visceral nervous system reaction to that. So it will become a gender divide.
Sorry,
I loved how Callie said,
not fantastic outcome.
I loved how Callie said, I'm trying to be diplomatic, gets so far in and goes, no, I can't do it.
I just couldn't, I was like, that's it.
We haven't got time for diplomacy.
That's Callie all over.
Do you know what's interesting as well? It's like, again, it's going back to the brief, Emma, when we talked about what we said we just didn't want to do it like everyone else did it. And there are some really, really good speakers are out there on AI, but a lot of it's visionary, a lot of it's look at me, and it is male. It was quite male. And we were like, actually, can we just get some really practical people? We know our audience. They don't want the vision. They want the practical. They want to know what I'm going to do next. And suddenly, it was Felicia, and it's Vanessa, and it's other people like that. And, you know, not all female bust, but it's funnily how we started sort of seeing these other folk that just were a bit more practical. I know that's really reductive, but that's kind of where it ended up. And it's sort of, that's kind of how we do things, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just smiling thinking if we searched either ChatGPT or the internet for AI panel discussions, I've never seen an all-female panel discussion around AI, so that's kind of cool in that sense. But yeah, the whole point was let's make it approachable, let's have some fun with it. And for me, just even seeing like when Neil's session with
Neil and Lisa, yeah.
Lisa's session, I actually, because I ran to the loo and then I was late back because I was too busy resting my voice. And it was absolutely jam-packed. I'm going to have to watch that session back now because I missed it completely because there was no headphones available. It was that. And that was practical. What was it? It was called like 20
hacks. 20 hacks.
20
Yeah,
hacks.
it was all practical.
That's to me. Yes, you know, it's great what AI can do for the industry. It's great what AI can do for the environment, for medicine, all that kind of stuff. But actually, how do I use an agent? How do I, like, what is an agent? Like, you know, and I'm very proud that what we've done, but you've put the program together, Al, is I think we've kept it at that, like exactly what we said, AI, hype, like, where do I go with this? And I think you've made it a safe place to be vulnerable around AI.
If anyone's got any questions or points, by the way, you can. I've said all day, I just hog speakers. It's just a thing. I'll sub myself at some point. But what we'll do is we'll just finish. I was just going to ask you each like your favourite session and why, right? Just so that people that couldn't go to it could maybe look at the downloads and things like that. If that helps you guys. So maybe starting with you, Callie. What was your favourite session and why? What did you kind of speak to you most?
My favourite session was Pippa and Rebecca.
Oh yes.
I absolutely loved the debate that they had there, and I really felt for Pippa at one point. I was there's Rebecca. Look, I really felt for Pippa at one point because I could see her here, and I could really see her wanting to dive into like the emotion and the humanness of it, but unfortunately, when we are transactional like that in a debate process, AI does come top trumps. It's quick, it's effective, it is sharp, 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 sharp. And you could see the difference in, I mean, both women were brilliant, weren't they? Absolutely incredible.
Supergirls.
Yeah, absolutely. But you could really see the difference in Rebecca's responses being sharper because she was being fed by AI, which obviously she was very transparent about anyway. But the delivery of that was sharp because she'd got that razorness of AI, and I just thought that was brilliant.
And it was absolutely packed as well. I got very
Yeah.
proud about that because I was like proud of our lot. I was proud of you lot because I'm like, we pack out studios when young people have got something to say. That was
It was great. They did an incredible job, Rebecca. You were amazing. I don't know where Pippa is, but yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant session, and both of those women were brilliant.
They're wonderful, weren't they? Felicia, what about you?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't make it to many others than the 3 that you had me
What
lined
was your
up.
favourite ones?
What was your favourite session about you?
About ourselves.
How great were you?
No, so I actually think our audience, some of them stayed with us from session 1 to 2, and I loved some of the questions. I was particularly pointing out what looked like a younger person. Who was the person?
5 minutes, guys, if you've got any questions.
So it was, so that younger person was the person that said, what about the younger people coming in? Because you're telling us that, you know, AI is going to do all of the more simple tasks and whatnot. And I was like, oh,
Great.
yeah, fair. Like, I keep saying that in my vision, AI doesn't replace jobs, but actually that is the one place where maybe some jobs are at risk at that entry level. So that's something for us as leaders to go away and think about and think, how do I balance entry level roles with this new use of technology? So that was good. And also the wonderful lady that said she works as a one, you know, a lot of freelancers do. I'm a one person, but she's like, I'm now thinking about how I can grow my team. So because I've come here today, so it's good feedback for you, but she said, I'm now thinking about how I can grow my team with agents, with AI agents. So it'll be me plus my agents, and we go together and we do business. And I was like, fantastic. I love that she's going to go and do something about it.
That's fantastic. And then lastly, but not leastly,
That was a
that
quick
was
5
not
minutes.
5 minutes, isn't it?
Someone's a bit keen to get us out.
Sometimes they've hit the fire alarm if I go on
it's
too
'cause
much.
It's because we're serving wine, so you can.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'll be quick. 2 sessions, if I may, for different reasons. One, also like you, the Becca and Pippa. But you know, I'm kind of contradicting myself now. So you know, I said earlier, no, not contradicting myself, about those entry-level jobs. Like, it's not those jobs. People like Becca and Pippa are going to come in and wipe our asses like with all this kind of stuff. They're going to want to come in and go, like, I'll create a different type of entry-level job. So will it replace them or will it just change them? Because, like, and one thing I would say is if you are growing your team, that girl there, she volunteers for us. She volunteered last year. She's an absolute rock star. She really is. So definitely, we claim me out there, started as a volunteer. So best of the best. But I also loved your session with Vanessa because it challenged my thinking. So when Vanessa was talking about will we have agents who come to events, my heart went like sank, and I just thought, how am I going to give ROI to exhibitors who pay me money to see you if you're going to send along an agent? First of all, in virtual world, but maybe. But then I thought, you know what? There's a whole thing. I do this with competition. It's like if somebody does something, you know, like that's pretty cool, and like, you know, kind of makes me want to go, damn it. I'm like, I just mentally raise the glass and go, thank you, because you just made me raise my game. And I think AI will make us raise our game.
That's excellent, Jerry Springer. Drop well played. No, that's why I get paid the big bucks. Can I just finish by just thanking CHS and the audience? I think we've got something really special here. I think the fact that we can do a program like this, be really honest by the fact that I didn't want to do a program like this, that I was really annoyed by the fact that we had to do AI, but then let's do it in the right way, and you guys all embrace it, and it was packed out throughout the day, not least for 2 young people that had something to say. So thank you for your attention and for being part of all this, and we look forward to seeing you next time out as well. But a round of applause from us to you and you, please. Have a glass of wine or non-alcoholic beverage, and we'll see you next time out.